Welcome back to Ron's Radio Corner. And I'm filming this video just after filming the video for the General Electric AM, FM analog clock radio that you see behind you. So if you have any interest in that radio back there, take a look at the other videos in the channel because that'll be there. But what I'm going to talk to you about right now is this guy down here. And give me a chance to maybe orient this a little bit better. This is the ATS-20 Plus. And really, I was watching this video. There was this guy, and he was really excited about this radio and talking a lot about it. And you know, I had looked at it before, but had thought, I don't know if I really think that's worth the money. But he was so enthusiastic, I said, you know, I'm going to give this a shot. Okay, so indulge me a little bit of humor, because what I'm doing there is sort of parroting a video from Todderbert where he was actually reviewing this guy. This guy's a little too beefy to kind of squeeze in there. I can't get the radio in this shot. He was talking about this guy, the Wen Pesare or the Wenzare. I'm not sure if the P silent, Y706. And as he starts reviewing the radio, he talks about having watched a video where this guy was talking about the radio, and he's referring to my video. And that was really kind of cool. I've been watching Radio Waves by Todderbert for a while. There's several radios that I have bought, if not completely because of his input, certainly in part because of his input. So it was really cool to watch his video on this guy right here, and hear him referencing you know, the video that I had done a few months back. But the truth is, a few weeks back, I was watching one of Todderbert's videos on this guy right here, this ATS-20 Plus. And I had seen this radio before and had been familiar with it. I had seen other YouTubers talk about it. And I really kind of thought, this is too much radio for me. This is, you know, this is the difference between someone who likes radio, someone who really likes radio, someone who enjoys using a radio, and someone who really wants to kind of get into the nitty-gritty. This is sort of maybe the baby steps of getting a little deeper into something that's, you know, not, you know, the neat little form factor behind it, which is just meant to, you know, to be used. This is a radio that you're basically, you know, it's got a learning curve. I guess that's the way to put it. But Todderbert did a very lengthy video on this where he really broke down all the different features. And one of the key things was he had upgraded the software, which I have not done. But he said even with the out of the box, you know, there was a lot here to like. And then there was a sale going on, and he pointed that out, and he had the links going to it, his affiliated link. And so I followed his affiliated link, and this is $25. I've seen this go for maybe twice that price. I have seen it plenty of times, like $32, $33, but $25 was the cheapest I had seen it for. And I said, for $25, I'm going to pick that up, because not only did his video may have pushed me over the edge, but the reason this was on my radar was because of you, all of you who watch this. And at this point, I have done a few videos on radios that have shortwave. I got the XH Data D219, right? You know, I don't know if I'll be, you know, let me back this up. You can see the radio. I'm kind of kicking in the shot here. I got the D219. Let me bring this guy back over. This guy has shortwave too. I have a Prunus J160 that's got shortwave. I have the 1964 GE portable AM shortwave radio. The Kato Voyager has shortwave. and I'm trying to kind of think of the other radios that I have, and if any of the other ones have shortwave. But I have a few radios that have shortwave, and as I have done reviews on them, one of the things people have said over and over again is, what about single sideband? And I've been like, I don't know. I don't know anything about single sideband. So the thing with the ATS-20 Plus is it does single sideband. And I thought, after watching that review, I'm going to spend the $25 and find some time to play around with this radio and really kind of get into shortwave, or at least try to get into shortwave single sideband and see if I can figure out what the attraction is. Because personally, I still don't see it, and I'm sure I'll get some people who will put some comments down there. And it's kind of funny. There's a couple of YouTubers that I really like, and their channels are basically sort of shortwave devoted. But also there's a pretty good blog that I've like to read stuff on, and there's definitely a shortwave slant there. But to me, shortwave is a little bit, finding a decent shortwave channel to listen to is a little bit like finding a needle in a haystack. So I haven't quite been sold yet. And I'm going to try to do this video relatively quickly. I'm not going to go into a really in-depth review. One, I think this is a little too much radio for me. I haven't spent enough time to really kind of get into it. And that's actually probably the big reason. I'm just not enough of an expert with this radio, with shortwave, with single sideband, to do a really lengthy review on this. What I can tell you, this radio, it's really sort of a unique little device, right? It's $25 for $25. There's a lot of radios you can get that have some pretty good fit and finish and polish to them. They're not necessarily going to do everything this does, but they're rather user-friendly radios. No learning curve. This guy here is, like I said before, he's got a bit of a learning curve. It looks a little bit like a homebrew sort of thing, something that you went to Radio Shack, if anybody remembers Radio Shack, and bought parts and sort of assembled it yourself from the front and back pieces here, which are some sort of fiberboard or that are just cut to sort of fit in the ends of this metal box, which is just aluminum, which is kind of nice that it's aluminum. Nice solid feel. It's small, right? I don't know if you quite realize how small this is. This is just this is typical pocket radio size radio. Somewhere in a tote I have a Sony pocket radio. This is almost the same size. The 706 here is a little beefy for pocket radio, but this is pocket radio size. This would be tough to kind of fit into your pocket, but it ain't much bigger. You could certainly you'd have no problems putting this into a little day pack or something if you were going to go off hiking or something, or wanted to bring this with you when you get to your destination. So it's not a big radio at all. I would say that if reading the directions on a prescription bottle or a bottle of Tylenol or is something that makes you reach for your glasses, you're going to need them for this, because it's tough to read that. Some of the print here is sort of small. The buttons are tiny. That screen has a lot of information, but it's really small. You get this nice knob, for tuning. But everything here is a little miniaturized. does have a nice size speaker. It actually has reasonably good sound considering how small it is. It has an internal battery, which, it's got an internal battery, which, at least on mine, this isn't glued down. I mean, I can move this around, and I think you can hear the battery slide around a little bit. That's a little disappointing. On the back here, it's got a USB-C charging port. It's got the older style port here, which I think is just so you can update the firmware. Lots of great resources where you can go and find out how to do that if you decide to buy one of these. On and off switch, tiny little on and off switch. It's got the little charge light here, which, I mean, I'm not sure how beneficial that is because it's in the back and it's small. It's got a headphone jack. It's got a switch here that you need to toggle if you're listening to FM, it goes over to the left. If you're listening to AM or single sideband, it goes over to the right. Even though there's switches on the front to select the band, there's like a filter or something that's used with this switch. It comes with this antenna, which I'm not going to be able to get off so easy as I talk to you. There we go. Comes with this antenna. Reception is good for things that are easy to pick up. But you have the ability to connect a different antenna, which is nice and would certainly improve performance. I haven't played around with that. I should, but there's a classical station that I have played snippets of on lots of the different videos I've done, because it's reasonably close, but it's not next door. So some of my radios struggle to get it nice and clean and clearly. I've struggled to pick that up at all with this. Although tonight, watch, it'll come in fine. So I have already taken a shot at this video, and I decided I didn't like it, so I'm doing another attempt. When I first turn this on, and if I haven't used it, I hear a pulsating. That goes away after it's been on for a while. Right now, this should be playing classical music, and it's not. So, no classical music for you. But
1,000 acres of federal land, excluding things like national parks or military land that are within 1 mile of city boundaries. So that's plenty of land needed to build the sort of housing or to accommodate the number of housing starts annually in this town.
Well, look at that. There's the classic station.
That's exactly
Faint.
right.
Which is not perfect.
Considering how small this radio is, I think it sounds pretty good. Again, I'm not going to try to walk you through everything this radio does. The video would need to be a lot longer than what I want to shoot. And I haven't spent enough time with it to really kind of have mastered that learning curve. But a couple of things that are kind of cool, right? So you can select the bandwidth with these switches, volume. You can select the step now, not on FM, but if you get into something like AM, right? I don't know how well you can have focusing. So right now the step's on 1. Now the step's on 5. The step's on 10. I find this is really nice, particularly with shortwave, because I'll put it to 10 and I will do a little band scanning. And if I think I'm hitting something, then I might adjust the step so I can sort of fine tune it. You can do single sideband, which I have not played around enough with, and probably need to put that over there. So unfortunately, we're not going to find anything on single sideband. Did I put this in single sideband? Oh, there we go. Again, I have not mastered the learning curve. But let me get this out of here and actually turn that off so we're not hearing any background. This is a really cool radio if you're someone who really wants to get into something a little more sophisticated than, you know, your basic AM, FM, even shortwave. You know, but if you want to get into something a little more sophisticated than the type of radio where you're basically adjusting the volume and then turning a knob to tune it in, it does have its limitations. You know, one of the things I've seen a few reviewers talk about is that obviously radio like this, you know, you don't have a keypad to dial in your shortwave stations or something. So there's a lot of turning that dial. Like I said, it's a little bit like a needle in a haystack. I've actually found that I will go grab this, bring the mast up, select a band, start from here, and just start doing a band scan. Oh, I think I hit something. Oh yeah, there's something. And then go over to this radio and tune in the same thing, because I find this less frustrating to sort of go up and down the dial, you know, all the way up, select another one, all the way back down, then to sort of do the endless sweep that I feel like I'm doing when I'm trying to use this for shortwave. So, you know, where does that leave us? I think, you know, doing the software update might be in the near future, or in the future for me. We'll see. I'd like to play around with it more, with the software it comes with, the firmware that it comes with, before I try to update it. But from the things that I've read and seen, there's a lot of advantages by updating the firmware in this. So yeah, it's a fun radio. It's a fun radio if you want to get into something that requires that learning curve. And if you can pay it up for $25, I would say, you know, it's worth it. If you're someone who's looking at this, but you don't want to deal with a learning curve, then I would say look for something else. Personally, if you're just looking to get into something to try out shortwave and give it a spin, I would say go grab the XH Data D219, because for $10, this is just an awesome radio. It's a great little AM FM pocket radio, and then, you know, you can kind of play around with shortwave, and if you find you like it, you can always go buy a better shortwave radio. I don't think you'll regret that you spent the $10 on this. And I would buy this one. I know that there's the D220 and the D221, which, instead of sort of lying down like this guy does, has the same form factor as this. But I just think this is more useful as a shortwave radio. And I really, really do wish that instead of the D221, they had introduced a version of the D219 that got rid of that FM2 band, which really doesn't help us here in the US, and added, you know, put the AM band up there, and then added the weather band up down at the bottom, where the AM band currently is. So yeah, if you've been thinking of getting yourself a shortwave radio and you kind of want to play around, if you're not into learning curves, you know, stick with something like this, or go look for a slightly more sophisticated one, because for the $25 I paid for this, or the $35 that you'll probably pay for something a little more sophisticated, you know, there's the $35 that you pay for this, there are definitely shortwave radios that are a little more sophisticated. So despite my best efforts, we still just hit the 20-minute mark. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank Todderbert 1 for reviewing the Y706. Go watch his video on that. Definitely, if you have any interest in this radio, go watch his review on the ATS-20 Plus, because he really goes into depth on everything this radio can do. Thanks for watching. If you have any interest in the radio in the back there, I have been letting it play, sort of sit there and run just to see how well the clock was working, because I don't know the last time it's been used. But go take a look to find that video. You can find my videos on the Len Pesare Y706, and you can find my videos on the XH Data D219 on the channel. So thanks for watching. Till the next time.